Human Flourishing Engineering Institute presents You Shall Not Languish, an anti-guide to well-being and wisdom by Sifallah Alwani, read by Lamia abouzid. To all those who are fanning my flame, to Rashid Alawi Bilghiti, who once ignited its spark. Prologue. I need this book. The world doesn't, and therefore, reader, I myself am the subject of my book. It is not reasonable that you should employ your leisure on a topic so frivolous and so vain. Michel de Montaigne, The Essays. I can almost see the faces of people who know me personally saying to themselves, "Finally, he seems to find something he does know to write about." This tongue-in-cheek remark compels me to express my little sour grapes, and raises a question I'd be a charlatan not to have thought about. Who am I to write about languishing, well-being, and wisdom? Well, truth to be told, my inquiry about this book is not defined by a discipline of any thinker's research plan, but by personal interest. My quest is fueled by my own experience in wading through odds and ends of my life, with an entangled knot of unsolved childhood injuries, an inborn melancholic temper, with frequent moronic seizures. I am interested in this subject because I pled guilty for misery and foolishness, or as I argue in this book, for languishing. Even in the most thrilling moments, my mind has always found how to ramp down my joy. As a professional procrastinator, I always hold some skeletons in my closet. So, an unpaid bill, a pending tour, a delayed report, or a looming deadline will undoubtedly be there to quell my happiness and content. As I grew distraught from such conditions, I devoted my energy and part of my professional time to figure out why I am foolish and miserable. Self-help books and gurus' talks are replete with ready-to-go answers about just doing what it takes to get the life I want. As an innate skeptic, I learned to quibble with this boned wisdom addressed to toothless minds. Then I got hit by one of the most politically uncongenital research discoveries in the field of personality of the last quarter of the 20th century. It's the rock-solid finding that disillusioned an entire generation of environmentalist researchers and oblivious self-help pundits, arguing that personality traits are highly heritable. That is to say that a person may have a genetically inherited predisposition to sadness, anxiety, stupidity, or laziness. My own interpretation of such findings is more blatant. Science tells me that there's no rehab for my condition right now. So why writing this book? Well, we never really know what fighting with languishing is until we experiment it on ourselves. So I decided to write a book to prove that I could learn at least something from my condition, which had gotten itself into a huge hairy mess by now. I wrote this book not because I have made some unprecedented discoveries. I feel entitled to preach, but because it's the book I wish it existed at the critical stages in my own life. It's the book I would want to read when I, like everyone else, was struggling with my code vitae secta bore eater, or when I was called to answer the most burning question a person in his mid-40s can ask himself. Is this being grown and mature? My first-hand experience brought those issues into focus in ways that I could never have otherwise understood. What is this book about? I would say nothing new. No book addressing human nature can claim originality. All the best writers can do is remind us what we all know in different forms. Yet, I believe that the more people are reminded about their true and pristine nature, the better it is for humanity and the world. At the risk of being dragged to the marketplace and stoned, I write this book as an attempt to make money by coaxing people into thinking about their miserable life, by addressing their responsibility in cultivating their languishing, and above all, by promising them nothing but blood, sweat, and tears. Since I give neither recipes nor chicken soup for the soul, I don't expect this book to offer a life-changing experience for any reader. If it does happen, though, I won't hesitate to claim the credit. I know that for a writer, inducing low expectations in readers can be a deadly sin, but this is my way to manage my awkwardness in raising the human flourishing issue with a difficult audience. You know, those hyper-busy people who have liquefied stress hormones dripping from their pores, who get anxious every time they encounter what they have been trained to see as back-in-no-braid philosophical arcane lucubrations. Well, I'll undoubtedly find some solace if I can catch the attention of the endangered species in this dumbing-down age, the intelligent reader. These people who keep their critical faculties sharp by engaging with new ideas, welcoming opposing viewpoints, people who have the wisdom to prefer the caustic truthful criticism to the deceitful sugarcoating. My heartfelt hope is that this book will contribute to uplift their flourishing. If it does, my joy will be full.